Okay, I think we can start. A very good evening to each and everyone who has logged in for today's Grounded Voices conversation number 46, the first part of a four-part series regarding issues of governance, resource rights, and ethnicity in the six scheduled areas of Northeast India. In this series, being the first part of this four-part series, talking about specifically about the six scheduled areas in the Northeast, and we have with us speakers who will be talking specifically on, of course, each series will be discussing a particular state. So in today's session, we will be talking about Meghalaya. I'll be your host and moderating today's session. My name is Mantre Passah, and just a brief introduction. I teach political science in undergraduate political science in Shillong Commerce College, and I'm also part of Thma Rangli-Juki, a progressive political organization here in Meghalaya. So without much ado, and let us go straight away. And today, let me, before we go into the speakers and, before we hear from them, the three speakers we have today, I'll just try to give a brief contextual backdrop of why are we touching upon this, topic, right? This topic on the sixth schedule, and why this is actually part of a continuation, a natural continuation, because previously I think NAPM has also organized under the Grounded Voices conversation, several series regarding the implementation of the Passah Act in several states of India. And of course, we've heard several activists, people on the ground who have, who have been activists, and of course, even different people who have, been discussing about the Passah Act and their implementation in those areas. And this is a natural continuation in which we want to talk about the six scheduled areas here in the Northeast, right? So specifically the tribal areas here in the Northeast. The sixth schedule, for those who do not know, is one special part, and there are some academics who have even noted that it's a constitution within a constitution, which grants autonomy rights to several tribal groups in Northeast, in these four states of Northeast India, including Meghalaya, Assam, Tripura, and Mizoram. And of course, there's a demand for, even in Arunachal Pradesh, that sixth schedule be expanded and implemented there, which is I think it's something ongoing. So what the sixth schedule tries to do is under under Article 2442 of the Indian Constitution is that it gives a mechanism for the, you can say a special scheme of autonomy in which it's almost like a state within a state. So for example, here in Meghalaya, of course, it's an independent state of its own. It's a state of its own, but within it, the three major tribes, the Khasis, Jaintias, and the Garos, have their own separate autonomous district council. So, of course, there's a long and very fascinating history behind how it was proposed, how it was even opposed, the debates around it, especially the debates during the Constituent Assembly in 1946, 47, 48, 49. It's a very fascinating history. I was hoping that Pastor Pyrtuh, one of the speakers, will give us a brief background about that. So of course, there's a lot to delve in. There are a lot of issues relating to governance regarding sixth schedule, conflicts, the issues, and of course, the proposed amendment to the sixth schedule, which the Union Parliament has begun the process. So there are a lot of things to discuss. So with that, all right, before I don't want to drag that beyond that, just those few words. I just would like to hand it over, if it's possible, to our first speaker, Pastor Pyrtuh, Kyrsoibor. And if anyone can, connect to him, we would be lovely to hear from him, especially about the historical context. So if anyone has managed to contact him because he's been having some technical difficulties. So he
Yes,
will be
just a
our first
second.
speaker. Okay. So in the meantime, let me just introduce Pastor Kyrsoibor Pyrtuh. He has been working as a pastor in the Presbyterian Church of in Meghalaya. He's been working in the Pastoral Ministry Presbyterian Synod in East Meghalaya from October 2000 till June 2021. So for a long period, he's been involved with the church. And also, in addition to that, why we mention him as a people's pastor is that he's a founding member of course, Thma Rangli-Juki, and he has been working and to raise various issues through various organizations. The most importantly, we have the Meghalaya and Greater Shillong Progressive Hawkers and Street Vendors, right? The street vendors and hawkers of Shillong. He's been involved with them since their founding, in 2016, and several other workers' union also. So, in addition to his work as in the church, he's also very active in terms of talking about various issues, and of course, in addition to that, he's also um, very much, as a small note, also, he's also a sports enthusiast. So with that small introduction, if we're able to connect to Pastor Pyrtuh, then we can hear from him, specifically about the historical context about the sixth schedule in Meghalaya.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes. So should I begin?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Pastor, you can begin.
Yeah. So I don't know whether, and this is the problem of the sixth schedule. Living in a schedule area, so you don't have access to. Thank you, Mantre, for moderating this show, and also my gratitude to the National Alliance of People's Movement for organizing this talk regarding local self-governance in scheduled areas with special reference to Meghalaya, and also my wishes to other panel, Mr. Klinsman, Lamare, and Deepa, Hajong from Garo Hills. So while talking about the sixth schedule and with reference to the Khasi and Jaintia hills, I think one should not forget or should not skip, from talking about unresolved political and
One second, I think we have lost him.
problem.
Yeah.
Now should I carry on?
Yes, please.
Well, while talking about the sixth schedule with reference to the Khasi and Jaintia hills, I believe that one should not, run away from, addressing the political and historical question which arose since 1947. If we would recall that after independence, the Khasis were sharply divided, on the issue of inclusion of the Khasi states, means the native states, in the framework of the sixth schedule of the Constitution of India. And historically, after independence in 1947, there were two warring groups. On the one hand, you have the Federation of Khasi States and the Khasi State People's Union. And on the other hand, we have the Khasi Jaintia Federated National Conference, which is being led by Reverend J.M. Kyrsoibor, who was also the member of the Legislative Assembly of Assam and the minister within the Assam government then. And the division of opinion was sharply divided. And on December 1948, in a public gathering at Students' Field in Jayao, the Khasi J.M. Kyrsoibor, in his attempt to add an amendment to Article 190 in the draft constitution, which as per his motion to the amendment, he said that the government may by public notification direct any Khasi state area which may be administered as it were part of the autonomous district council. So to this amendment, the Khasi States People's Union strongly opposed, and they took a resolution on the public meeting, which let me quote, that the Khasi State People's Union strongly resents the overbearing step taken by the Assam minister, and which means the Reverend J.M. Kyrsoibor. And subsequently, in the Khasi Scotland Meghalaya, there was a voting on one resolution moved by Reverend J.M. Kyrsoibor, and as per his scheme, Reverend J.M. Kyrsoibor wanted to have one type of administration for both the Khasi states and the non-Khasi states, but within the framework of the Sixth Schedule. But on the other hand, the opposing group, which was led by the Federation of Khasi States, moved an amendment that they wanted to have a single unit of administration for both the Khasi states and the non-Khasi states, but within the framework of the IOA, or the Instrument of Annexation, along with the Annex Agreement. So that is a brief account on the, on the political and the historical question as far as the working of the Sixth Schedule in the Khasi and Jaintia Hills. And this question, even though we may think that, it was over in 1947, 48, 49, but it was not. I mean, it is still visible today, and there are features in the Khasi society, along this line, the division between the instrument of annexation group and the idea of working within the framework of the Sixth Schedule. So am I audible to everyone?
Yes, yes.
Yes, Pastor, you're audible. Please continue.
I could hear the moderator.
Please continue. Please
Yeah,
continue.
please continue. Yes.
I didn't hear your Mantre. Can you?
Yes, Pastor, I can hear you.
We are able to hear you. He's saying, please continue.
Okay, now see, but personally, essentially, I'm not a big fan of the Sixth Schedule, but as an ardent believer of the Constitution of India, I believe that the Sixth Schedule, with its embedded idea of self-governance, is the important constitutional document that we now have. So now, for the past, for more than 50 years, the Sixth Schedule has been implemented in the Khasi and Jaintia Hills as well as the Garo Hills. And on this side of the state, I mean the eastern side of the state, now we have 2 district councils, but still we have issues, issues like gender justice, and then also issues of unrepresented tribes, which is highly debatable on this side of the state. Recently when the standing parliamentary committee visited Shillong to hear the views and opinions on the constitutional amendment, the 125th constitutional amendment to the 6th schedule. And let me put our group, the Thma Rangli also, we had sent a representation, and in person our colleague and friend Angela Rangat met the standing committee of the parliament, and our stand is very clear. Number one, that women representation should be, gender justice should be embedded in every law, in every legislation of the district council. The participation of women in the village Dobar at the grassroots governance. And then our stand also is very clear on the issue of unrepresented tribes. We have several smaller tribes in the state of Meghalaya which are indigenous to the state. So they also need to preserve, to protect, and to promote their own culture, language, traditions, whatever, they have inherited, since time immemorial. They also should be protected in that sense. So smaller tribes which are indigenous to the state of Meghalaya, like in Garo Hills, you may have the Hajong. Our panelists can enlighten us more on that issue. But on this side of the state, eastern side of the state, in Ribhoi, we have the Thma, the Karbis, and in the Jaintia Hills, we have the Pyrtuh, smaller tribes of, small indigenous tribes, inhabiting those areas. So these people also should be heard, and they should be given, a chance to present themselves in the district council legislature. And see, the whole idea is that they should also be, their traditional culture, whatever you say, should be protected, preserved, and promoted. So these are the issues which are very pertinent, that needs to be debated, and not only besides debating, also to facilitate their participation, in the grassroots governance within the framework of the 6th schedule. So having said that, more importantly, we have now several bills which had been passed by the Tehsil Autonomous District Council, like in the past, in 2015, the Village Administration Bill, which we took a stand, on the issue of gender justice. And also today, we have few bills which include the inheritance, the Khasi inheritance bill, and then the clan bill. These bills has to be debated, at length, so that, these bills should not be limiting legislation that limits the rights of indigenous people, which includes women, but rather it should be those legislations which will enable everyone, every tribal to participate fully in the day-to-day governance at the grassroots level. So I think I should end it here for now. I got so uncomfortable, through this, because of my networking problem.
Okay, thank you, Pastor, for that. I know there was, erratic network really hampered the beginning of the discussion. But that was a very interesting point you made about the, the beginnings, right from the debate, right from the, since it was not since there were two opposing groups, one for the sixth schedule and one against the sixth schedule. So that's I think one issue actually I wanted you to give us a lot more detail on. So, but thank you for that. But before we go to the next speaker, or maybe we should go to the next speaker. I think since pastors, we can hear from you later. You can try joining us again. I think since Pastor Pyrtuh was talking about unrepresented tribes and also about uh, we often forget that under the sixth schedule, under these various tribal areas, there's more than one ethnic community living. Some of them very small, some of them actually with huge populations also. But so therefore, we are glad to have with us today as our second speaker, Deepa Hajong, who will be joining us and who will be talking about many issues. As she already informed that she will want to talk about many issues, but I think she can take it over from here, specifically regarding the issue of unrepresented tribes. Deepa Hajong is the former General Secretary of the Hajong Students Union, Southwest Garo Hills. She hails from, of course, Southwest Garo Hills, Meghalaya. She is a BTech graduate from in computer science, and she's also a founder of Angelic Computer Institute. So, of course, she's a former student union leader, and I think she would, of course, there are many issues that she wants to talk about coming from her standpoint. But I think Miss Deepa, if you can just come in and just, I think, start off with the issue of unrepresented tribes, specifically in the state of Meghalaya, then you can go on and talk about the other things also you want to share with us today. Ms. Deepa?
Thank you, Mantre. I'm really
Mm.
grateful for the opportunity, for giving me the platform to speak. So, first of all, I'm really grateful to the National Alliance of People's Movement for this, for the opportunity, and also my co-panelist that today I got that I could speak about my community. So, as Mantre said, that I'm from Southwest Garo Hills, so I'll be speaking. Let me just tell you who the Hajongs are, and why lot many issues are being we are facing. Give me a minute, Mantre. I'm having bit this issues here. Give me 1 minute, please.
Sure.
Thank you so much. So let me just brief about my community first. So before moving to the issues, so the Hajong, we belong to the Indo-Tibetan group, and we are from the time immemorial. They say that we are from the Bodo.
Miss Deepa, sorry to disturb you, or sorry to interrupt you. Can you just on your video? I think since your internet is fine, we can just, that'll be easier for the audience also.
Okay.
If you don't mind. Yeah.
Actually, my laptop is having bit issues with this front camera, so that's why I just don't.
Okay. So go ahead.
Mind. So is it fine, Mantre?
Yeah, it's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. And as I was saying about my tribe, the Hajongs were basically from the Indo-Tibetan, and also we are spread in different states like Arunachal, Assam, and Meghalaya, and also in Bangladesh. So according to the sixth schedule constitution, so we also are the ones when the autonomous district council was launched at that time, when started, we are along with the Khasi, Jaintia and other tribes, Garo, Kachari, Dimasa, 1950 constitution, we were also the same tribe that we got recognized. But the problem we are facing is the autonomous district council. We are not able to get those benefits which we should get from the district council. So the different, are you able to hear my voice, Mantre?
Yes, just slight. Yes, I can hear you, but just a slight disturbance from your end.
Okay, so.
Okay, I can hear you clearly now. Go ahead. Take your time.
Okay, so we are also an indigenous tribe, but the reason, we have different issues which in our states or in other states like in Arunachal or Assam or Meghalaya, because of the different issues which we are facing. So we would the autonomous district council have, which they have not promoted. We also want that our tribes should get those benefits which the major tribes are also getting. I have the list which say that in a major Hajong tribes resides in this in the area of Southwest Garo Hills and West Garo Hills region. So there is a land area which we were not able to get the proper data yet for of our land which we were not able to preserve, especially the Kyrsoibor land, which we were also called the Kyrsoibor land. The Kyrsoibor land were mostly of Hajongs, and it includes 3-4 districts of of Garo Hills and some parts from Assam. After the division, so half of the areas were divided into like 2 different parts, half in plain belt areas of Garo Hills, and half in the other half region in the Assam area. So what I would mostly focus for the issues that we are facing is about the village council, the autonomous district councils, which we have, the customary law, it's not been promoted properly. And also I would, first of all, I would also say that we also got in the year many of our seniors or are like, yes, the leaders also got an opportunity to be the part of Garo Hills Autonomous District Council. That time we also, when the Garo Hills Autonomous started, that time we also had the opportunity to be nominated to get elected, but but slowly, due to the demographic change, due to a lot many the like non-tribals has also included, that we are not getting those benefits now. So like I can say that in the year like late double Chandra Hajong, who was from Dufrigao, southwest Garo Hills. And he was an NDC from 1772 to 1987, and he was also an MLA from 1988 to 1993, and he also held a Ministry of Fisheries, Home Guards, and also different stage ministers like for sericulture, weaving, printing, and all. And another candidate also we have like late Jagabandhu Hajong, who was an MLA, and he was elected from the Ampati constituency in 1972, and he was also from Katligao, which is in the southwest region of Garo Hills. And another MLA and embassy, late Kelaram Hajong, was also nominated several times. So, but now because of the non-tribals issues in our ADC, in the ADC is the Autonomous District Council is for tribals, is for preserving our tribes, but after they have included non-tribe and all, so now we have been dominated, and we were not given that opportunities. Right now we don't have the even single representative in the district council, because of which we don't have the platform to share our interests. So and our culture is not being recognized properly in other parts of India. And we are preserving our own tribes through, but the benefits which we should get through this district councils, it has not been promoted that much from its at its end. So I would say that it would be good if the Ministry of Tribal Affairs and if the that they give the opportunities to indigenous tribe, the minor tribes also, to promote their culture and to show, to give the platform. And that's why today I'm really grateful to the National Alliance for giving us the opportunity to talk about my community. So also we the Hajongs, when the in this Meghalaya was separated from Assam, Hajongs were given a different reservation seat, like 5% for job reservation, but it has been like included with other tribes which has recently been formed. So the district council, I would say to these are the issues which we are facing, that in the Hajong tribes reservation are being filled with other tribes also, because of which we are our people are not getting that much opportunities to to promote their promote the culture, and also to get in different fields, to get the advantage of other schemes, like the schemes we are not able to get the benefits of other schemes also, like from the government schemes, as we don't have that representative. So these are the issues which we minor tribes are facing after the they after the district councils have started including the non-tribals also in the autonomous district councils. So also and I would be yeah.
Yeah, if I can interrupt you, thank you for that. So if I can understand correctly, what you're saying is that previously, what you're talking about in the Garo Hills Autonomous District Council, you have had representation. You've had MDCs and even MLAs representing from your tribal group in the, of course, the GHDC, the Garo Hills Autonomous District Council, as well as in the Meghalaya State Assembly. So I think, and I also understand that you said that a lot of your issues, the issues concerning your tribe, especially in terms of your customary law, especially your
Yes.
even your protection of land, a lot of those
Yes.
issues have been sidelined because, as you said, if I understand it correctly, there have been demographic changes that have not allowed representation, especially from minor tribes in Meghalaya. So I think for the audience, in Meghalaya, of course, there are the three major tribes, but there are several other dozens of smaller unrepresented minor tribes spread throughout the state. And of course, some of them, because of the numerically, they have been able to get representation. So even Deepa, I think, was talking about that. And I think lately there have not been many representatives from the Hajong community in the district council. If I can just add one question, if you can just talk a bit about, because there's, I think you're already aware of the provision for unrepresented tribes, right? How they should get nominated to the district councils if there is nobody representing them. So the recent sixth schedule proposed amendments, that there's one provision for that. So of course, I think from from your perspective, can we hear a bit about that, right? How the representation of the minor tribes with regards to the proposed sixth schedule amendment? If you can just add a bit to that, Deepa.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, I was seeing that. As I was saying, the representatives of the Hajong communities and, of course, other unrepresented tribes in the three district councils of Meghalaya, particularly about the Hajongs. I think you are aware about how there's a proposal to introduce this nomination process for unrepresented minor tribes in Meghalaya. So, what is your take on that? If you can just share a bit about that.
So, I would have to I would say sorry on that because I don't have that much knowledge in that case.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand. Like, of course, I think if, as you were
In
saying, the
detail, yeah.
demographic changes have brought about problems in the sense that you don't have representatives. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yes.
So, in that respect, several of your issues, especially your customary laws, especially and even your land, their protection, there have been issues with that because you have not been able to push these issues through in the, you can say, the Garo Hills Autonomous District Council. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then. So if I can just pivot this a bit, just one more question before we end for you. Since you are former, General Secretary of the Hajong Students Union, so maybe if you can give us a small perspective of how the student community from the Hajongs in Meghalaya and other states as well, or what is, if you can just give us a few issues, a few struggles, any problems that you face and your experience, maybe just an experience from as General Secretary of Hajong Students Union.
Yeah, I would say, sir, that as the issues that we are facing is as I said about the customary law, and also the government schemes, the funds which we have tried to get in touch with all the governors and the state government, but we have not got that replied yet. So the result is not that fruitful yet. So we are still waiting for that fund from the government. So that it will be really helpful for the development of our students, because in all the as you can see in the plain belts areas of Garo Hills, it's a remote areas, and education is really important, and students are uh, they should get that proper education, but the awareness is not that much. So as a student, we need a financial security to provide all this resources. Like if there are some talented students, but due to the finance issues, they are not able to study further. So for that, I would these are the issues which the students of this our community is facing. And along with that, there is a as it's in the border areas of with the Garo Hills shares the border areas with Bangladesh and all. So our kids, the tribals, the tribals are also not means they are trapped with those social media, because of which the non-tribals and all, they try to uh, um, uh, kidnap or a lot many issues. So like love jihad and all. This should be the awareness programs and the women protection programs should be provided to us by the government. So these protections are also being not provided to us properly. So girl child protections and the education, the quality of educations is, and the financial status, I would say these are the major issues which we are facing right now.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I think we get the gist of what you're trying to express, especially as one of the minor tribes, as a representative. So one of the issues is that, like, you've not been able to push a lot of the issues which face you, and the areas of development which you would like to want are not being brought up. So thank you so much, Deepa, for your words today. I think we will thank you so much. We will go to the third speaker and let us hear from him.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deepa. Now we have, let's go to the third speaker, and we have with us Klinsman Lamare, who is an indigenous rights activist from the Jaintia Hills district. He would like to describe himself as someone who has always believed in humanity, and he's always wanted to re-examine critically the thoughts of society and to endeavor to engage with different social-political issues. Of course, he endeavors to become an analyst and strategist, and he is most importantly, he's a member of Revolution Yada Yakari, which is one of the political organizations which have come up in the state in recent years. So Klinsman, if you can join us and share us a bit about a few opening statements before we proceed to to issues relating to the sixth schedule and in Meghalaya. So, Klinsman.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much, Mantre. And I thank the National Alliance of People Movement for this invitation. Uh, it has been a privilege for me to use this platform for the purpose of my ideas and ideologies on behalf of the people of the states, even though some might think I might not represent them. And I would like to introduce myself. I'm a teacher at Umulong Presbyterian College. I teach English literature, and I think I'm from Umulong village, which is not far away from Jowai. Hey, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Go ahead,
Okay.
Klinsman. Yeah.
So what I want to discuss here, and I forgot to wish the other panelists, Pastor Kyrsoibor and Deepa. I wish you Merry Christmas in advance, and to you, Mantre, and to all the viewers. So,
Thank you.
see, I would want to start off with the the discussion with society, our society, which is the fact that in every society there is a social change, social changes. And what I see in our present contemporary society, there is the gravity and the magnitude of social changes is much more than we expected. Bear with me because you might think I deviate from the point, but I'll come to the point. So, see now, what I see is that since our society has undergone so much of changes and is still moving on, and I think there's a saying that says that we should adjust the sail because the wave might move from any direction, but we should adjust the sail. So what I want to say by pointing those is that in in our Meghalaya, uh, we have the NGOs with respect to your NGOs, the Thma or Rangli-Juki, with respect to you. Uh, what I see is that you tend to have these your aspects. It's more broader than the. I don't want to make any comparison. No, not to humiliate the others NGOs, but what I see is in the Thma or Rangli-Juki is more broader and wider the aspects. And see, with these aspects, there is a clash and conflicts of ideas with the other NGOs, of our states. And now, what I want to say here is that um, the 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 differences of interests, and the 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 purpose, the ideologies, the philosophical thoughts are differences because your NGO seems to have belief, seems to have much uh, more adheres to human rights, to I mean humanity. Let me put it in that way, humanity. And see, on the other side, there are pressure groups that put pressures on the government with special reference, with special protection provisions to the scheduled tribes people, to the tribal people. And the other side, which seems to to provide protection for the scheduled tribes, no doubt about that, uh, but in a way that they adheres to the human rights and the natural rights, because as apparently as it seems in the past, okay. Now now what I want to say here is that how do, because as I'm saying that the society is changing, since it's changing, then we have to adapt. Then since we have to adapt, because we cannot say that these rights are only for the Khasi, the Jaintias, and the Garos people, or for the tribal Meghalaya people. There are whole lots of rights and fundamental duties for the even the mainland Indians, the non-tribal. There are whole lots of rights that need to be protected. Okay. Now, now I'm saying here is that there is a questions that arises. There are questions that arises that some of the NGOs, their way of thinking, their ideologies are uh, at international level. At an international level, you know, and now we in the Khasi states of Meghalaya, we need to be more to ourselves. We need to be concerned with our own people. So there are lots of rights. There are lots of rights that should be denied to the other people. Can you get what I'm trying to say? Hello?
Yes. Go ahead. Yes.
Okay. Now this with this thoughts that I have. So what I'm trying to say is that how do we different organizations come together and make sure that we have a healthy debate and healthy discussions that we can cope with the social changes, because the other side of the NGOs are thinking that the world is changing, not only Meghalaya, the world is changing, and that change, as I mentioned before, the magnitude and the gravity of changes is so much. It's arriving faster than expected. Okay, and since it's arriving faster than expected, then we sure do need to cope with that. We can't say that we will make uh, everything complacent for our own people first, if you get what I mean. And the other illustrations I want to give is that if we see with now with the funfluencer in the social medias and the influencer, the YouTubers or whatever it is, you see, um, the identification that I want to talk here, the identification here is that some of the very own the celebrities now, because I see that it's trending because they are the trendsetter. That is what I mean to say when I say this, the world, the social is changes. We have that. We are almost at the heart of the states of Meghalaya in Shillong. It's almost like in the Western countries. Okay. Now we see there are celebrities, and then they have their own way of their own interests, their own way of entertainment. Okay, there is the music artists. Like for example, I see I see there is a Khmer society, something like that, which I see that they used to sing. Every time when they sing, I see how they identify themselves, identifying the Khasi tribes. They are more to the more to the more to the way they sing. I mean, like the way they dress. That is how they identify themselves to the world through social media. And on the other hand, I see there are other music pop artists who tends to sing like the Western music, the way they sing and the way they dress. I'm not another. I want to remind again that this is not a comparison, and this is not a. I haven't come to the conclusion that which is right, which is wrong. Everything is to be appreciated. Everything is entertainment, and this is art. We should
Excuse
be
me, Mark Klinsman.
appreciated. Yes, yes.
Can you just, since we are short on time and since we started late, can you just,
Okay.
move ahead to the point if you don't mind?
Okay. Now that is another illustration that what I'm trying to say is that
Yes.
there are differences. There are differences. The differences that we have in the NGOs and even in the music industries in our society. So what I'm trying to say is that yes, there has been a lot has been done to improve the social well-being of the people of the states. That means through the scheduled tribes, and there has to be there has so much has not been done, because I'm not saying uh, that it's not the best. It might be the best because due to the social dynamic changes, so that we what I mean to say is that with all these elements, with all these differences, that we have to cope up, have to have to adapt with the changes. So what my point here is that how do we as a state come together, the NGOs, maybe the politicians, the leaders, through all walks of life, come together and work for the betterment. Maybe there should be a modification or remodification of scheduled tribes for the rights and the duties of the tribal people, because of the dynamic changes that need to be
So,
done. That
if
is my point.
let me just, if I can just interrupt. So what you're trying to say is that, so something like, for example, the EDCs, the district councils. So you're advocating that there must be some reforms, some changes in, like, for example, the
Yes,
district
yes. To
councils.
the, I think, yeah, I think there has not been enough because of, as I mentioned, that because of the social changes, there has been autonomous district council that has been providing, protecting, and ushering to the people of the states. But I think there's a lot of spaces for improvement, and maybe there should be, since there's a social changes. Yes.
Yes. So if you can just add a bit more, like, can you just tell us a bit about your work uh, in Jaintia Hills,
Yes.
as you are a member of, as you said, Revolution Yadaya Kari. So
Yes.
what
Yes.
exactly is your main objectives, and in relation to, the sixth schedule and the district councils?
See, to clarify that, I am one of the co-founder of Yadalakari, and right now I can't say I represent them because I don't have the consent and the approval. So there has been lots of talks, lots of proposals that the scheduled tribes, there should be, I mean, like Article 371 would much be better than the scheduled tribes. The
Sixth schedule, you
Yadalakari,
mean?
yes, the sixth schedule. And I don't think that that because I mean, the sixth schedule has its own advantages and disadvantages. Then the Article 371 has its own advantages and disadvantages. So now I mean to say is that with consultation and with discussions and debates and all that, then the whole state itself, then maybe we can come to the better solution, with keeping in mind that social changes are always there. That is
Okay.
that is what I want to say.
Okay. So we'll get back to you. Since we were cut short earlier with Pastor Pyrtuh, I think I
Yes.
would like to bring him back here again. I think he's connected to us now. So if Pastor can just come in and share with us the second part, since you talk a bit about the historical context. So can you just, Pastor, if you can just share with us some issues regarding governance and ethnicity related to the district councils in some major issues which you can highlight, right, in Meghalaya. So Pastor, if you can just continue. He's here, but he's please, Pastor, you can, you are all, I think you're not audible yet. You have to speak. Yes. Please go ahead, Pastor. Your audio. I think your audio is not working. Yes. Take off the headphones. Unplug the headphones, I think. Audio is red, so I think it's not working. So I think we have to go over the phone again, if possible.
If you will permit me, can I add some more?
Okay, in the meantime, Mark Klinsman, you can continue while
Yes,
Pastor is still trying to join.
So Mantre, to clarify, let me be more specific, okay? Because I just want to clarify on this point. Because I see now Thma of Rangli-Juki tends to believe that the right to marry, see the marriage rights. See, I see that even though
So
I'm not
speaking
sure, but it's
in the
apparent to me.
relation to the Kasi,
Yes,
to that law which
yes.
came out
Now
a few years back.
Thma Rangli-Juki is no doubt is an Kasi NGOs, but that's why I mentioned earlier that there is they tend to be adheres to the human rights, the rights to marry or rights, so much of those rights. And now the other NGOs in I have seen in lots of debate. Debates with some of the leaders, with Kong Angela Rangat and all those. There are debates regarding the scheduled tribes and all that. Okay. Now, what I want to say, my point here is that since this particular particular NGOs is saying that no, we should have a special rights for ourselves, once who marry this one and all those stuff that has been said. Okay, we need a special protection, or a special right should be granted to the specific to the Khasi peoples itself, and all those that has been said. Okay, now with these differences that I'm saying, because I tend to believe, I tend to with my own aspect and visions, I see that I tend to believe that the Thma or Rangli-Juki somehow cope up with the social changes. Okay, I have to appreciate that, but there should always be this as I told you, a healthy discussion, debates and all that, because we can come together as as a whole, the people of the state sphere, because everybody represents for the public, for the betterment of the public.
Yes, Mark Klinsman, I understand your point. Yes, of course, there's discussions to be had regarding many of these issues. Of course, there are many differences of opinion But of course,
we
they
have
can
to
always be. If Pastor
and
Pyrtuh
I
can.
want to mention here that
Yeah.
one more point, don't mind, one more point. I
Okay.
want
Okay.
to
Go ahead.
mention
Go ahead.
here that
Go ahead.
this is not something to say to come to the conclusion that the other NGOs are wrong or something, some kind of some kind of saying that they are narrow. No, I respect their thoughts and the aspects. They're not wrong. They have their own views. They stand for the rights of the people of the state. But there should be a discussion. There should be a discussion. They must come to the table. Both of the thing which should come to the table, and there should be discussions. I think I'm clear.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, we understand your point. Yes. Thank you.
We have Pastor on the phone.
I think I have to take a cue from Klinsman submission. Well, when it comes to marriage, I mean, the right to marry is not a woman right. It's also primarily a tribal right. So perhaps since 1924, the issue of who is a Khasi is long done and settled. You know, when the debates happened in the Khasi National Darbar, which is the parliament of the Khasi community, I mean, nearly 20 years before India's independence. So the issue of who is a Khasi is settled. And also, despite my theological issues with Reverend GGM, but I would like to place on record that I highly appreciate him on the issue of women, which he also, very clearly and candidly spoke about women's participation in grassroots governance during the Darbar of the Khasi National Darbar, which was held on the in the month of October 1925. So, which unfortunately, since 1952, when the ADC was commissioned, I mean, there was a discontinuation of what had been debated and settled in the 1920s. So now again in the 21st century, 2021, you still have representatives who in the district council and even chiefs of certain Thma, who spoke like the ones who were living in the 200 years ago. Recently, our Honorable Chief Executive Member of the Khasi Hills Autonomous District Council reiterate on the custom. I don't know which custom he was referring to. On the custom and practices of the Khasi, where a woman cannot be elected as the head of the village. I don't know which custom was he referring to. And even we have the acting CM of a particular Thma. He was, on the same tone. He was, trying to justify that custom of disallowing, or rather disenfranchising women in the village Darbar. So, I think this is a very, very pertinent issue that we have to keep on debating. Well, we have to fight for it because when you say tribal rights, it includes women, men, and and even people with different sexual preferences.
Okay, thank you, Pastor, for enlightening us, for adding some of the issues which we are facing facing today in the district councils and the 6 scheduled areas?
I saw someone
Okay, go
asked a
ahead.
question regarding the role of the district councils vis-a-vis, the extractive development. I mean, actually, initially when I said that the sixth schedule is the only document now that we possess, I was trying to address this issue. In the state of Meghalaya, even in Garo Hills, we are rich in mineral resources. And in the southwestern part of the Khas Hills, you have uranium. So, till date, I mean, credit to the Khasi Students Union who has been, stood firm on the ground, in their resistance against the mining of uranium, and also to that extent, public opinion has been able to put pressure on the district council. At one point of time, the district council, the Khasi Autonomous District Council, was almost, ready to give a green signal for the mining of uranium. I think, would you recall, in 2006, 7 or 8, if I'm not mistaken, that the entire district council was too happy, to have that mining company in Domitia. So, also in the Jaintia Hills, there's a big question, now only recently you have issues of coke factories polluting our air, and then the unscrupulous, mining of limestones for the cement factories in the Jaintia Hills. And recently there was a public hearing which went out of the way when few cement companies trying to expand their mining lease into the area called Pyrtuh. So actually, more than marriage, we have to look into the issues of of the role of the district councils in protecting our land and resources. Because as a tribal, I cannot live without land. As a tribal, I cannot define myself. My tribality depends on my ownership on the land. So, I think district councils, their role is, what is the idea of sixth schedule? The idea of sixth schedule, broadly, we can say that it's about land, language, and culture. So that is the point I'd like to make it further, in this discussion. So I think I heard Deepa Hajong also. Yes, I've been in the past few months. I've been talking with a few friends from Garo Hills who belong to the Hajong community. They really have serious issues, because they are minuscule community in the state of Meghalaya. So until and unless we provide them, a seat in legislation making body like the district council, they will not be able to, to represent themselves. A friend of mine, he told me a story about his father was contesting from a seat called Tricky Kila in Garo. I mean, a slight shift of voters from his own community made him lose the election. So, I mean, the situation is as such. Until and unless these people are given a chance, you cannot depend on. Of course, they are not been denying, no law in the country will deny them to contest for even for state legislature or even for representing in the parliament. But being a minuscule community, we have to understand. I think we should put ourselves in their shoes. And also, even there are Khasi community in the Kachar Hills district of Assam. Recently, even people in Meghalaya were celebrating when the Khasi in the Kachar Hills districts of Assam were given what is they call Khasi Jaintia Development Council. Of course, that council is not as powerful as the district council, but at least now they have a body where they can express themselves and even frame rules, laws, for the protection of their own, for their livelihood, for their culture, language, and so on and so forth.
Can I?
Okay. Yes, Klinsman, you have anything to add to that?
Yes. Regarding the coal mines and uranium, I heard Pastor was mentioning about that. I just wanted to mention here that how the people, the scheduled tribes people, how the hilly people are being deprived. See, I think everybody have witnessed that we have to blame the government for this. See, uh, the there's a question, who is the real NGT, because NGT imposed ban on coal mining. After the NGT imposed ban on coal mining, and it is believed that there's illegal transportation of coal every night, not every month, every night. Since uh, the trucks, the lorries that are transporting every day doesn't belong to the ordinary, the common people. So the benefits, the profits doesn't goes to the common man, the common people, the hilly people, the East Jaintias, most of them now, the majority of them now are becoming poor because of the way the government manipulates, the way the government manipulates. Now I remember in the sessions once, Mukul Sangma, I have to give him credit for this. He even raised a question that if let's start legal mining, then illegal mining will stop. I remember that. So in that way, I think I see that there is the people are being deprived. The people are being deprived. And one more question is that, Pastor, regarding that, this is a question to Pastor regarding that. You mentioned earlier that a woman can become a headman or something like that. See, I mean, like, isn't it tribal to? Isn't it tribal? Isn't it a tribal way to follow the rules and the regulation of our ancestor? Because I believe that in the our forefathers have, I mean, like, they have never, it sounds anti-feminism, they have never allowed the women to be there in the dorbar and all that. That's all.
Thank you, Klinsman, for that. I think what he was trying to say is that there has been mismanagement in terms of resources, and how, of course, we all, just to give you, for those who were not aware, Jaintia Hills is a mineral-rich district of the state, and there have been coal mining there for decades. And recently, the NGT banned unregulated rat hole mining in the state because most of it is unscientific. So there have been a lot of opposition to that, because they're saying a lot of the people have lost their livelihoods because of that. Of course, there are two sides to that debate, which I don't want to go into too much detail, but what he's trying to say is that the government has been mismanaging, and they have not been able to really control, or basically they're not been able to equitably distribute the fruits of those resources, especially from coal mining. And of course, now it's still left at a limbo, and there are a lot of issues.
We also have Pastor on the phone.
Yeah. Pastor, I think, wants to add a bit about that. Yeah.
I just want to take on the question of Klinsman. See, not allowing women in village darbar, participating in village darbar, it's not tribal. It's Victorian. It's a Victorian culture, so it's not tribal culture.
Okay, I think I'll interrupt the speakers for now, since we're almost, out of time. We'll take a few of the questions if Pastor can ask and can answer some of them. But there's one which I think somebody asked is regarding judicial powers of the district councils. So to answer that question, just to give a brief answer to that, the district councils, as I said, they're like a state within a state. So you have the legislature, you have an executive, and you have a judiciary. So, for example, giving you the example of the Khasi Hills Autonomous District Councils. So you'll have the legislative aspect in which you have members of the district councils who are elected just like MLAs through universal adult franchise from specific constituencies, and they form the legislative arm of the district council. And from there, of course, just like the formation of a cabinet, you have the executive committee of the district council being formed with the chief executive member and the executive members forming sort of like a cabinet for the district council. And in addition to that, you also have a judicial wing of the district council which performs roles similar to that of, for example, in Meghalaya, we do have, of course, the district sessions courts are there, but we also have the district courts also. And of course, there are many levels, just like it's like, as I said, a state within a state. So the judicial powers include many. Of course, I cannot list them out. I don't have them at the top of my head, but it's a hierarchy. You have a top-down system of judiciary. So at the top, you have the district council court. Then you have a smaller courts in the lower courts, and of course you have the village courts also. And the village courts are functioning as per traditional law. So of course it's not uniform at the village level, but at least at the district council level, you have a fully functioning judiciary in terms of with actual judges and actual cases, especially in cases relating to two tribals, right? If it's two groups which are tribals, that is usually the case. Of course, there are many other things to this, but just to answer that question on whether there are judicial powers in the district councils, let me check another question here before I summarize. Okay, let me just read. What is the evolving relationship between the ADCs and village governance structure and the traditional system and ADCs and the state government? What are the issues? Just to give you a brief background of that, the traditional structure and the traditional governance as per the district councils. The district councils, of course, they're the ones which regulate the traditional entities. The traditional entities, as per the tribal groups, they have their own political institutions, traditional political institutions. Like we said, we have the Thma, we have the traditional aims, who are traditional political heads in the Khasi Hills. Then, of course, you have the lower village level, you have the Dorbar Shillong, which are sort of a rough translation, which translate to a village council, right? So the traditional aspects are there, but they are regulated through the district council. The district council is the one which makes the laws, which regulates them, which makes the rules. And of course, they have been codifying a lot of these, the administration and the jurisdiction of various of these traditional institutions, traditional political institutions within the district council. But the district councils are the ones which, of course, administer and regulate them as per the 6th schedule. Because the 6th schedule, instead of directly giving powers to the traditional institutions, they have created this institution of the district council to regulate these traditional political entities. And of course, there are many issues. As per the second part of the question, there are many issues relating to governance relating to this. Of course, as Klinsman and Pastor had discussed, it's regarding the issue of gender, and the participation of women in the politics of the traditional institution. That is a debate, of course, because the KHDC itself, the Khasi Hills Autonomous District Council, has been not very progressive about this, right? Of course, there's there's a lot of debate around this. There are certain sections who want the participation of women in the political process, even in the traditional political process. But of course, there are those who disagree with this and who stick to the point that, of course, as per tradition, only men should rule. Of course, there's a whole debate surrounding this also, as you heard Pastor and Klinsman talk about. So as we're coming towards the end, I would ask
Mantre, we have Pastor here for one of the questions.
Yeah, or if he wants to add. Okay, Pastor, can you just add to that question?
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
Yes, continue.
Yeah. No, there is a question which is being asked by a member regarding the percentage of tribals in Meghalaya.
Okay.
So, tribals in Meghalaya constitute about 85 to 86%. So the remaining are non-tribals. So we also have 55 seats in the state legislature reserved for tribals and 5 seats for the non-tribals. So together we have 60 seats in the legislative assembly, which Meghalaya is more a tribal state in that sense. Therefore, critics of district council, they always use this argument that we already had a full-fledged tribal state with 55 members in the legislative assembly. So ADC are no longer necessary. But that is debatable in that sense. So, and also, let me enlighten, especially people from the plains who are here. When you think of tribal people, you may be thinking that, oh, they are, located in one corner in the northeastern, one of the northeastern states of India. But no, a tribal community is also global community. We are bordered to the north by Bangladesh or to the south by Bangladesh, and we are bounded to the north by Assam. So along these border lines, there is also a trans-border community. So when the government of India passed the Citizens Amendment Bill, me and Mantre filed a petition in the Supreme Court on the issue of trans-border community. Because in the CEA, the government of India said that CEA will not be applied to the 6th schedule area. But in the trans-border community, the Khasis who live in Bangladesh, they also have relatives, in Meghalaya. So there is still, a clan, very much strong clan relationship. So if suppose a Khasi wishes to, come back to his own clan who lives in Meghalaya, so will he be able to be accorded citizenship? Whereas Citizenship Amendment Act is being exempted from the 6th schedule area. So these are issues as well in the north. There is an inter-tribe relation between the Tiwa, the Karbis, and people who live in the Ribhoi district. So these are issues which need to be sorted out. Not only on the historical account, but also on the anthropological account. So, very important questions someone had asked. So yes, Meghalaya is a proper tribal state. So the future of this state also depends on, how this sixth schedule vis-a-vis, our tribality evolves in the future.
Oh, can I come again, please?
Okay, Klinsman, I think we'll take concluding statements. You can have you have
Yes.
5 minutes just to make your
Okay.
concluding statements.
Okay, let me
right?
summarize this. Let me
Yeah.
summarize this. I think this is crucial. Okay, now when it comes to the autonomous district council, I can say they are not autonomous because there's a lot of difference from the state government. And from that, and what is here
I think we're losing you. Your
hello.
please. I think you have to repeat yourself. I think your internet was spotty.
So one thing, if you can in that way, that might be the so and that as you know, status, the current status the salary. So what I want to say here is that there's a lot of suspicious mind, speculation that there might be a huge scam or the corruptions might be going on. And this is the question which is very crucial that needs to look more into the matter. And now the question is to the executive committees, the CEM or the deputy CEM, is that what are they doing? Are they waiting for the state government to giving them the money, or because Jaintia Hills is one of the richest district in the states because the revenue comes so much to the state from the district. So are they have some other solution, alternate solutions to solve the problem of the staffs and the workers? That's all.
Thank you, Klinsman.
Yes.
I think just to expand that a bit, I think it was referring to that the district councils have been plagued by a lot of mismanagement and
Yes.
corruption in
Politics.
terms of their funds and a lot of inter-party politics also. So their functioning in the past 60, 70 years have been hampered a lot by that also, and there have been a lot of issues in terms of even the Garo Hills Autonomous District Council has been plagued with this. With for the past a year or two, there have been strikes. There have been a lot of conflicts, among the staff with the staff union of the district council because their dues have been unpaid. Some of them for more than a year. So that is one very big issue in terms of the functioning of the district councils in Meghalaya, is that their mismanagement, especially in terms of financial mismanagement. So I think I'll give the time now for any concluding remarks from Ms. Deepa Hajong, if you want to give your concluding remarks today.
Yes, also I thought of including one point which I forgot to mention. Actually, there is an illegal transport also, which the Autonomous District Council, which the laws and all, which they are not properly been handled, and because of which there are a lot many accidents and all. So heavy trucks loads with coals and all are being transported to the Bangladesh and all. So through the Dalu area, which is the Southwest Garo Hills part. So these are the issues which we are facing in the Plain Belts area. And yes, you have also included in the in the Garo Hills Autonomous District Council, the most of the employees have not got the 4 months, 5 months salary yet. So recently, they have just released for 1 month. So again, they are just requesting it. So 4 months pending. It's still 4 months pending salary has not been released yet. So these are the issues we are facing in the Plain Belt area, which the Autonomous District Council is not able to resolve it till now. That's it. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
sir,
Deepa.
for that opportunity.
Thank you. So I think since Pastor was just answering questions, so maybe I'll give the opportunity to him now to just conclude, give his concluding statements about the state of the sixth schedule and the functioning of district councils in the state of Meghalaya. So just a few concluding remarks, Pastor.
Yeah, number one, as a tribal governance starts with the family. You know, a Khasi tribe or everything is centered around a family or a clan. So, and then it goes up into a village. So that for that matter, the need of the hour is to strengthen, our local self-government, beginning with the clan, the village, the Thma, and so on and so forth. So therefore, the need of the hour is for the district councils, all the 3 district councils in the state, to legislate laws that will enable people to express themselves, not necessarily to disenfranchise people, not to limit people from participating in the day-to-day governance of their own, clans and the village. So, but unfortunately, since day one, since the time of the United Khasi Jaintia Autonomous District Council, almost every law which they pass ultimately leads to the court of law. And they give so much space for the judiciary to, to interfere in their legislation. I'll give you a concrete example. In 1959, they passed the most unpopular legislation called the Appointment of Chief and Succession of Headman Act. On the day they pass the law and on the day the government assents the law, the first victim of this law was the CM of Berlin. So this law has been used and abused for political reasons. Whoever disagree, even politically with the executive committee, any CM for that matter, any chief of the Thma or the village will be, axed under this law. So, and then number 2, I'm also concerned about Shillong. Shillong, there's a conflicting power centers. You also have a municipality since the 1876, 1878, when the British introduced Shillong as a municipal station. And some of the scheduled areas also were acceded to the Shillong municipality. So, and the last municipal election, which was held in Shillong, was in 1966. That was the last municipal election. Can you imagine a city or a town like Shillong do not have a civic body to run the city? And also at the same time, we don't have a robust village administration law to run our localities within the Shillong township or the Shillong agglomeration. So now we are also moving into expanding the city into the new Shillong township. And we don't have a proper legislation to run our own villages and towns. So the big issue that we have to resolve is that can we converge the idea of the civic body within the framework of municipality, and also the idea of local self-governance within the framework of the sixth schedule. So we have to pull our minds together to find a convergence so that things get resolved. Otherwise our city will collapse. Will collapse on one reason, on simple reason, on waste management. Klinsman also will agree with me that Jawai Township, even though Jawai has a proper municipal board, but
Yes,
now
yes,
we have
yes.
issues of of waste
Yes,
management.
yes.
So also Shillong.
Yes, yes.
So yeah. So and there are also, besides that, there are also many issues, within the framework of the sixth schedule of the Constitution of India that we have to take it seriously for the next 5 or 10 or 15 years. Like Klinsman, I could hear his comment also about the social changes. He talks about, mostly, if I could get what he said, it's about westernization. Of course, it is an issue, but how do we confront westernization so as not to dilute our own culture? Forget about westernization. Now we are in the process of Hinduization.
Yes, yes, yes.
For the next
That's
30
true.
years, we will be facing. Klinsman, you are from Jaintia. No one would dream that a handful of soil from Jaintia would go and be part of the soil in Ayodhya. So forget about
Yes, yes, yes.
think about Hinduization of this land.
Can I, one more? Can I just, okay. No.
I think it'll take too much time.
Yes,
I
yes.
think we're almost at the end. I'm seeing one question directly to me. I have one question. I think I can quickly answer that before we.
I think we lost Mantre. Arundhati or Dwiji, would you like to just step in and complete?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
If Arundhati is there, she's better informed about the issues and.
No. Did go ahead? I'll just.
Oh, sorry about that. I think I got disconnected.
Good. Or yeah. I think we can see you. Could you say something, or is your line still frozen? Or maybe he is
He's
true.
I think he's having connection. Mantre is having connection issue. Maybe we
Yeah.
can wait for us a minute, and then if not, then we can.
Yeah, we'll just wait for a few seconds. Let's see.
Go ahead, Bridget. It's disconnected.
Yeah, Meera also asked if Agnes would like to add something. I think we have Agnes also here. So would Agnes, would you like to add something? Please unmute yourself and share your thoughts. And
Yeah, good evening all.
yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, quite clearly.
Yeah, it is. Thank you all for this inviting us all here to listen to all this. And it is, we have to really put a lot of our thoughts in much of, of what's happening. And so that, as we all know, our communities are small, and we can be overwhelmed easily, and our identity is our land, yes, and we have to also help the poor people whose lands are being taken away. And we know that a lot of so-called development, which is it develops only the rich people, the ones in power, and it develops them, but it doesn't help the poor, and their lands are being taken away, and they cannot, so we have to be together so that we can help. And yes, Pastor has said about the new Shillong township and all that earlier. Even the bureaucrats, they got 1 rupee per square feet. 1 rupee per square feet they allotted to themselves, violating the Land Transfer Act. And so it is very unfortunate that we have such people in power, in connivance with those in bureaucracy. And so that's yeah, what I can say. We have to unite together, and let's still go on to beat this madness that those people in power think they can just come and take over with their policies, globalization and all that. That's what I can say now.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, apologies. I think my Wi-Fi got disconnected. So I think we're coming to the end. I think I was cut midway while I was trying to answer that question. I don't know whether it was answered. Should I just end that, or should I answer that question? Okay. I'll just wrap it up and just finish that. So that question regarding how the traditional inheritance custom which is giving the ancestral property to the youngest daughter, which is the traditional, which is the tradition here in the in the tribal communities of Meghalaya. Of course, it's not a law yet. It's a proposed bill which was recently introduced in a session of the Khasi Hills Autonomous District Council, and of course, it has not been passed yet, and it has been sent to a select committee to be further scrutinized, because I think they've, of course, they have not been, there's not a lot of opposition, but there's a lot of voices about its legal, about its legality, or whether it can actually become a law. Because one of the issues of the district councils in Meghalaya is that there are a lot of bills which they have been trying to pass, and a lot of them, if not, a lot of them have not been able to be passed, or to get assent by the that is their problem. Of course, some of them take years, decades to even finally get dissent after going through legal scrutiny. So just to answer that question, it's a very fascinating debate also that, but just to answer that question, it's not exactly abrogated yet, but there is a proposal, there's a bill, and it's currently in a select committee, being scrutinized in a select committee, in which most probability in the next session they will try to introduce it again. So just to answer your question with that question. So I think we can wrap it up today. I know it has been a very tumultuous session right from the beginning, with technical difficulties, trolls, and whatnot. So apologies for that. And of course, we hoped it went on more smoothly. So hopefully for the next sessions, things can go more smoothly. But anyway, I think we had some good discussion there. We had some good discussions. We talked about some good topics here from the panelists in today's session, and we talked about a lot of things in particular. Of course, talking about sixth schedule, governance, ethnicity, resources, especially in Northeast India. It's a vast subject, and it's very difficult to even talk about in a span of 2 hours. So thank you for all of you who've joined us today, and hopefully in the next series, right, when we go to the next state, we will have much more insight into how the sixth schedule works and how these district councils work and what are the issues surrounding them. So with that, I would like to thank you all, and bid you good night, and thank you for joining us to today's session. On behalf of NAPM and myself and the panelists, thank you and good night, and we hope to see you again in the next series. Thank you.